Differences between classification and tabulation. Classification versus tabulation. Classification is the process of grouping data into different categories on the basis of nature, behavior, or common feature. Whereas tabulation is a process of summarizing data and presenting it in a compact form by putting data into statistical table. The purpose of classification is to analyze and simplify complex data, making it easier to understand and analyze by grouping similar items together. Whereas, the purpose of classification is to systematically present data in rows and columns for comparison, analysis, and interpretation. The nature of classification of data is to quantitative or qualitative. Whereas, the nature of tabulation of data is to quantitative. The order of classification is after data collection. Whereas, the order of tabulation is after classification. The arrangement of classification are based on attributes and variables. Whereas, the arrangement of tabulation are based on columns and rows. Classification divides data in categories and subcategories. Whereas, tabulation divides headings and subheadings. Classification involves grouping data based on certain criteria. Whereas, tabulation involves organizing data into rows and columns. Grouping survey respondents by age range in classification are 18 to 25, 26 to 35, etc. Is the example of classification. Whereas, showing the number of survey respondents in a table with age ranges as row headings and responses as column headings is the example of tabulation. Classification is used to group similar data into categories by identifying patterns, relationships, and trends within data. Whereas, tabulation is used to present data in a structured and organized manner by displaying data clearly and concisely for quick reference and analysis. Classification can be complex as it involves categorizing data based on multiple criteria. Whereas, tabulation is relatively simple as it involves arranging data in a structured format. Data illustration in classification may use charts, graphs, and lists to represent grouped data. Whereas, data illustration in tabulation are primarily uses tables to represent data. The format of classification are based on grouped into categories such as age groups, income brackets, etc., whereas, the format of tabulation are arranged in rows and columns, often with headings and subheadings. The analysis facilitation in classification helps in understanding the distribution and frequency of data. Whereas, the analysis facilitation in tabulation helps in comparing data across different categories or groups. The application of classification are useful in research studies, market analysis, and data mining. Whereas, the application of tabulation are useful in reporting, documentation, and presentations. In short, classification is the process of organizing data into categories or groups based on shared characteristics or attribute. Whereas, tabulation is the process of arranging data in a table format for easy reference and analysis. Kindly subscribe my YouTube channel Thesis Helper. Thanks for watching.